стих, а все писатели настоящего здесь. Любишь делиться своим творчеством и хочешь, чтобы тебя заметили? Подписывайся на паблик ВКонтакте с авторами и стань частью самого большого креативного сообщества.
Раз, два, три, четыре, пять. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять.
Не звоните, подождите. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять. Алло. Раз, два, три, четыре. Да. Либо Асан слышит себя. Сейчас. Будем задержку еще. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять. Раз, два, три, четыре. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять. Четыре, пять. Раз, два. Раз, два, три, четыре. Раз, два, три. Раз, два, три. Так, ну есть еще какой вариант? Какой вариант?
Слушай, нужна твоя помощь, ребята. У нас сейчас группа начнется. Вот. Микрофона, короче, ему секунду перевод. Он идет так, секунду перевод из Югославии, сейчас пробуем включить, у нас идет добавление звука. Сейчас можно я тумбочку отдам, сейчас девочке, которая у нас занимается, объясни ей, пожалуйста.
Алло. Да, здрасте. Смотрите, проблема такая, что если переводчик должен сидеть в наушниках и слышать звук, который идет из комнаты, но при этом он не должен слышать сам себя. Если я выключаю, и он не слышит себя, то тогда на трансляции, которая через YouTube, тоже не слышно переводчика. Смотри, ну, у меня вот эта вот штука, где типа переводчика, я могу подкрутить звук. Он в наушниках он не будет себя слышать, но и на трансляции его не будет слышно. Соответственно, нам такой вариант не подходит. Наушники подключены, не знаю, это у нас написано. Пульт. Раз, два. Да, а нажать какую? Где канал переводчика или канал комнаты? Раз, два, три, раз, два, три. Так, на конференции сейчас слышно и переводчика, и комнату. Нужен только переводчик. Нет, у меня вот комната меня вообще не интересует, потому что там клиентов не будет. Меня интересует YouTube-канал и наушники. Вот с наушниками, как я понимаю... А, нет, стойте. Нет, здесь тоже опять есть звук опять. Не пойму, в чем дело. Сейчас, одну секунду. А, нет, супер. Раз, два, три. Так, все. У меня благодаря вот этой кнопке PFL решилось то, что переводчик не будет слышать себя, но слышит комнату. Это хорошо. Теперь мне нужно, чтобы на трансляции... Да. А, кстати, я отжала один канал. Все, получилось. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять. Секунду. Да, да, все, я выкрутила эти на 0. И теперь надо проверить. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять. Единственное, типа, очень тихо теперь записывается звук, но я его потом, если что, смогу увеличить. Все, спасибо. слушайте нормально ли вам?
Отлично. Ну-ка на ты.
Да, окей.
Нормально. Слушай, если вдруг кто-то будет говорить через одно место, если я увеличить хочу вот это у себя.
Хороший вопрос. Скорее вот это вот.
Так, давай я послушаю. Ага.
Ну вот сейчас.
Сейчас, подожди. Да, это.
Ага.
Точно это. Угу.
Так,
Все.
микрофон на себя включим.
Насколько он чувствительный? То есть я могу спокойно вот так сидеть, и он будет ловить меня нормально, да?
По идее, да.
Тогда ближе сядь. Да. Вот сейчас хорошо слышно? Раз, два, три. Все, понял, круто. Все, супер, хорошо. Идет. Угу. Okay, please take the paperboards that are in the middle. And please write down your name the way you want me to call. I will tell you what happens today, because today we discuss the packaging of one of the product under histamine product. We'll have several variants, several options. We will see them, and we see different options in detail, then we compare it in between. I would like to tell you a couple of words about main rules. There are two main rules. Please, don't shy. Tell me all things that are in your mind. You're all different here, you might have different opinion, and they might differentiate, and that is absolutely acceptable and normal. If your opinion differentiates from the others, please loudly reflected to me. The second moment, I need your politeness, meaning don't interrupt each other because we're conducting audio-video recording of this conversation. And this recording is needed for the internal needs because we transfer it into the text format and then we write the final report. So for the purpose to understand what are you talking about, we want you to speak one by one. I'll give an opportunity for every one of you to tell me your opinion. And of course, I notice every one of you. As far as we're conducting audio and video recording of this conversation, I ensure the total confidentiality because whenever you say, will be with us. And in the final report, we'll have general information about you without any personalization. During this conversation, well, probably it lasts about 1.5 hours. And I would suggest to start it. Let's start this conversation with your introduction. Tell me a couple of words about you. How old are you and what are you doing? So let's start with you. Hello, my name is Irina. I'm 31. I'm dealing with renovation. So I just make some drawings and my husband does it in the house of people. So for how long do you do that? So we're just finishing it. So, and people say that this renovation starts endlessly. So I'm just selling some wood items. So that's why I'm dealing with renovation. My kid is 1 year old. Good. My name is Helen. I'm 43. I live in a civil marriage. My daughter is 10. So I'm a manager of furniture salons. There are not so many salons. And I like to deal with renovation. And it's like a homemade designer. I would like to adore, to modify different things in a flat. And it lasts for 4 months. I'm participating in fitness marathons. And I would like to conduct right lifestyle. And this is what I do. I really like the pets, and this is also good to me. Do you have some pets right now? No. Well, I have these pets, so now it hurts me because it died recently, and later soon we might have another one. Hello, my name is Anna. I'm 36. I'm working as the manager in production of office products. So I'm in a civil marriage. I have the boy of 5. As a hobby, I'm dancing, I'm swimming if I have time. Because now I'm dedicated all my time. We are preparing for school. The kid is really vivid and I need to take my eyes on him. Mainly I deal with the education of my kid. Do you dance professionally? No, I'm just dancing at home. And he's dancing together with me. Just to feel relaxed and having some fun. This is what I do. Probably we deal with dancing together. So you try to make all interests. So all these hobbies are related with the sports. Good, thank you. Hello, my name is Irina. I'm 41. I'm married. We have 3 kids. The mid son is training basketball on professional basis. That's why I dedicate my spare time to him. So with us a different place. So we also like very much traveling, and right now we spend time at home and we didn't go anywhere. So we go to Riga, and that was the farthest place. And where else you've been? We like very much Greece. And we haven't traveled since March. That is before the quarantine, before the coronavirus. How often do you travel? Not really often. It could be 2 or 3 times a year because it's all associated with the schedule of my kid. And that means 2-3 times a year. Galina, I'm 45. I work as a leading specialist of energy company. The kid is 8. So of course the school takes a lot of time. We're attending dancing, English, and I also like swimming and also like traveling. we start planning our trips, and we're visiting neighboring cities like Rostov the Great. We've been in Kolomna, we've been in Saint Pete. So the foreign countries are still closed. That's why we decided to travel to see on the cars in neighboring cities. For the last half year, when it was a quarantine, how did you change your lifestyle? So this lifestyle has changed dramatically because the fitness was not working, the kids' circles of interest were not there. So we had English on the Zoom, and still it's just to have some fun, to have a spare time, and it was really hard for us because my husband was working remotely and the kid was on the distant, on the remote learning, and that was also hard. So that was not a divorce, but that was a serious challenge for us. Good, clear. Hello, my name is Lady, I'm 44. So I'm second time married, I have 3 kids. The boy is 17 with all his problems, and the daughter, she's 6 and she enters the school. So this is how we slowly work. And what are you doing when you have spare time? So mainly I'm with the kid. So what do you like doing? So we're walking and going somewhere just to have some activities. And we decided to have a rest on the homeland, and we really like it. My husband liked it very much, and the older son didn't go with us because he was not really interested in that. Okay, great. So today we discuss a product. It's antihistamine product. So the name of the product is Suprastine. When I say the word Suprastine, what comes to your mind? So what are your associations? It's an allergy, it's a well-known product, it's a violet color, something very old, something cheap, that's correct. But on the other hand, it's like a very old medicine. So the first thing that it's prescribed if you have any disease. So it's on your ear because it was prescribed very often, that's right, because the first thing that the doctor prescribed, it could be the medicine plus the Suprastine. Our pediatrician, they do not prescribe Suprastine. They provide like analogies like Zyrtec and the others. And our pediatrician always provides Suprastine. If I say Suprastinex, what comes to your mind? So it's some kind of rebranding from Suprastine, or it's improved or updated Suprastine. Probably this could be some, I don't know, the pills, something more expensive and something improved. Something modified, more modern, and it's finished. I have an impression it could be some kind of drops, and Suprastine are the pills, I don't know. Let's see. Let's try to describe Suprastine with adjectives. So Suprastine, how does it look like? Suprastine is old, it's classical, ancient, well known. Strongly acting, it's bitter. You know, to me it has an additional effect because it's like it has the same sedative effect. What if we describe with adjectives this Suprastinex? It's something really modern, improved, let's say the finished one. I think it is softer. So what do I mean by the word softer? I think Suprastine is a very small pill, very bitter, but you take it once and it removes all this problem. Talking about Suprastinex, it might have a prolonged activity, but it has, probably the taste is not so bright and it's not so bitter. Probably talking about the kids, you could also provide it, so they have even the milder activity. Talking about Suprastine, how it differentiates from the other antihistamine products. I think it doesn't have such a strong side effects, but it acts very quickly. It is powerful, but on the other hand, so it is not associated with the childhood. I think it is cheap. Yes, it is true, it is modern. Because before we just used that product. And it's a very ancient product. It has a very fine taste. So it's like the same energy. Why it is better than the other products, Suprastin and Suprastin X. So if we're talking about the benefits of the product, the improved moment is that people know it, and the other products, oh, people suffer from allergy. Everyone knows Suprastin. I have an impression it's an overwhelming product, and it impacts different types of allergy. So it could be a seasonal allergy and so on. And this one looks really good. It's like a universal option to me. And it is really powerful. Now let me give you the questionnaires. Please take a pen and please write down on the top your name and your surname and your age. Look, now I give you the materials. So now I turn the page. We do not discuss it. You silently learn it. You silently see. And I tell you that we show 3 different packs of the product. We will evaluate it based on your impression. Not a separate evaluation, but how do you perceive all those 3? Please turn it and then fill this questionnaire and tell me what do you think about it. How should we fill the questionnaire? We have 7-point scale. 1 is the most negative and 7 is the most positive impression. You need to put in every line the number, and you could circle it. Should I write down 1? Yes, when you have the number 1, please write down. Did you all finish? Now let's discuss, because now it will be very hard to discuss all 3 packs. That's why let's pick one by one. First of all, the first pack, Suprastin. The pack with the stripes. What would you say about it? So what were your thoughts when you see this product? It looks like a habitual product. So it looks as cheap as that one. Yeah. What about you, Anna? It is also looking cheap. Beside that, it is cheap. What else would you say? So I think we would not show it for the older kids. So there is action in 20-30 minutes. So this is a new information. How do you perceive it? We perceive it positively. So talking about the second pack, I think it looks brighter and it's more attractive and it's very informative. You don't know what type of product is that. Thanks to the control on a seasonal allergy. So you might have it in your first aid kit and you could take it. You understand for the kids that you could take it. And it's 6 months, so you know how many packs you need to take. Probably it is new. And you have an impression that it will be expensive, even one pill a day. So how do you like pack number 3? I think it is simple. I would not say that it's really modern, but it's very informative. So you understand at what moment you could or should take it. So it is simple, and it looks like Fenistil. It looks like the same orange. So we understand that they prescribe it, there's pills for people who's older than 2 years old. Do you have any questions about it? I don't think that it might fit, because one is, let's say, 6 and the other is 1 year old, so there could be some allergy reactions and so on. And if they're newly born kids, they need to extend this line of products, and that's true. In general, how do you like the specs? They're not really noticeable. They're rather simple, and it tells that the product is not so expensive, but on the other hand, they're informative, and you understand that the information on the pack cannot be shown, but on the other hand, you find a needed information. Talking about Suprastin X and 6 months is without the break, you do not need this information, because it is needed for adults and the kids. For me, it is much more comfortable to read the age group for whom they do it instead of how long you should take it. So for 6 months, and there's some 7 pills, and it looks like an anti-advertising of this product. So this design looks rather cheap. We understand that it's line of one product, and you could find different categories. So you could find the same drops for the kids against a seasonal allergy. Why do you understand that it's? Because you have one logo and there is a logo inside, and you find the inscription. It is written against the allergy. Besides of the logotype, I would like to make a similar drawings, because you define it with the colors, the age groups. But here you find some stripes, and that not an exception besides of this logotype, and the color spectrum should differentiate. At least it should be equal, because the colors are different, the topic of drawings are different, and so on. You told me you see that the product is cheap. So there's white pack, so there are like spots, and you do not clearly understand from where they are. So you cannot find United style, you cannot find the modernity, and there is no touch of current time. Because sometimes you find the holograms as protection from fake. And this pack looks much more representative. So you find the same contour, and you do not see that they properly work. So you find it out that design is really noticeable and they do not make you think. So these kind of elements would not be really noticeable. So that people, they understand that design is probably not finished so much, that's why their price is cheaper. Because you remember, all products, they've been manufactured in the white packs and there were no design. So as higher is that, as higher is the price. That's why this is neutral perception and it doesn't attract your eyes. But if you look for that in the different variants, like antihistamine product. So if we're talking about several products, it will be flashing in your eyes like Suprastine and Suprastine X. And you will have some others. I would like to find it on the shelf. And I would like to find it on the color spectrum. For me, it will be much more comfortable to see the known logotype and the focus on the color. I understand that it's my age group, and it's much simpler to me. For me, it's very comfortable when you differentiate. Here you have some stripe, then you have some, I don't know, the spots. Can you pass it? Here we have identical elements besides of the package number 2. Which variant you like more? So you could find some flowers, that's interesting. And probably it's the same. So on the first one it's also differentiating, that's interesting. So the variant A2 you like more because the first and the second pack, they have similarity on the color and you understand that it's line of product. You need to make, it's like the stripes and then it's like an explosion. So probably it's over design it. Let's see the first pack. What are your emotions about it? So the emotion of this pack with the stripes, Suprastine. It's a classical packaging. It's simple, it's laconic. So this activity might start, I don't know, so if to make this marketing approach, you need to do, and you need to show when the activity starts. I would like to say it's a different impression that if it's 15 to 30 minutes, it doesn't provide such a gap in time. Probably this one makes me feel calm and it brings some serious impression of that. Talking about the second pack, what is your emotion? Suprastine X. It's modern and creative packaging. It's not really clear what this explosion means to me. Probably it's an allergy and they show this explosion. Probably this is how they struggle against it. So talking about seasonal and chronic allergy. So this could be an allergy on the food products and on pets. That means that it doesn't fit. So why just that type of thing? Why they're talking about the seasonal allergy and what about non-seasonal allergy? So I remember once I have the allergy on the celery and I was really shocked about it. So if I don't know, I just go and see this pack because it doesn't fit to me. So I would like to understand what they do with this pill because they have different acting ingredients with this allergy when it's not the season. So now let's discuss the pack number 2. So it seems that this explosion shows you the blossoming flowers and the trees. So probably it's like you're sneezing and this is how this explosion looks like. So it's like you're sneezing and it's a reflection of the allergy. So there are several types of allergy. What about you, Anna? Probably it's like you have the same sneezing and there are 3 different types and you should find it in the instruction. I dislike that they write down as a seasonal control on the chronic allergy. Why do you dislike it? Because you're thinking about it, probably have allergy against different. And I was thinking whether I should take it or not. That's my question. Package number 3. Suprastenics in drops. What are your emotions about it? It's like you have an algae in the microscope. So it's an algae under the microscope, and I don't have an impression that there are already established diagnoses, and you could also go and take it with the same. So it's rhinitis and the other. So we know that the kid might have it. In this case, we buy. If something happens unexpectedly and there is a redness, in this case, you should know what type of medicine to take. And this doesn't fit. When they mention all these elements, if the person did not face the allergy, he underlined it as not needed. So the doctor could take it without reading, or people with the same experience, because they know that antihistamine products, they perform similarly. But this could be the list, and if they go to another, if there is one worried mom, and if she doesn't see in the list the symptoms her child has, in this case she thinks that it doesn't fit. You have an impression that this specificity will narrow the performance of the product because you have your own problem and they might be different. I have a different impression that they not show precise information because they provide a spectrum. So probably you need to write down that this is against that and it's against redness or the other things. You need to have an understanding besides of mentioning things. It should be an allergy on pets, on some food and the other stuff. All of you think that this narrow performance of the product, some of you perceive it like something negative because they think that the product is not universal, it's narrow, but for the other, it's reflection of efficacy, depending how you turn it. To my point of view, they just simply copied from Steel, and this is what they do. I'm not buying one product, I buy 2 products. One is like a gel, and it removes some itch. That's why this one doesn't evoke any negative impression. I understand it could be about the same age. But this pill remove an overall heaviness. If you do not see the pack, what do you remember the most? I mean, what is the thing you remember really the most? It's an orange color. It's an orange color. What about you? So it's the word against the allergy. I remember the allergy and explosion of the flowers. Now let's discuss it. Let's find on the first pack the elements with a positive potential. What attracts you? What is done so good? I like the logotype of S and it is noticeable. So you need to make this logotype brighter and being more noticeable than the same suprastine. What do you like in this logotype? It is very laconic, it is modern, and it doesn't flash in your eyes. This S letter looks like something that if you put in the logotype and this line of suprastine is attractive. What about you, Anna? What do you like the most here? Probably you could find these colors. Do you like the colors, how they look like? Yeah, they are nice, the blue and the light blue. So the rest is, okay, it's acceptable. What about you, Helen? What is your preference? I cannot tell you that there is something I really like. The colors did not distract me. It's one of the colors that I do not like so much, but still, if you find the same color that is on the spot, I have an impression that the color is not even. I think it's more gray than blue. So that's interesting because it looks really neutral. Any other elements that you like the most that attract your attention? I like very much the size of the inscription on the product because you easily read. And I like very much the clarification that it's against the allergy. You understand what type of product is that. Then you could see the font size that is written there. So what else you like and dislike in the first pack of Suprastine? Some elements that distract you. I dislike these lines of this dirty violet color. I really dislike it, and on the other hand, I do not understand the disposition of this. If the lines are going further, we understand that it's a part of the brand and a part of logotype. But I do not see the reason in this product. They're not beautiful, they're not juicy, they're not attractive. So what they mean? If we're talking about your ideas, what they symbolize, these lines. I like this pink. So I like the pink color on that. And it's very slim and it doesn't cover information. So 1/3 of the pack is covered with the flowers, and that is. So if there is something you like and dislike, Helen said that she faces this activity and probably it's not really a true marketing approach. To my point of view, they say that it's not a marketing approach. If we're talking about this marketing, it should be very confident. Or you should skip this inscription, or you need to say that this activity will start there. And in this case, you have a feeling of confidence, but this is about nothing. Because 15 or 30 minutes they attract you, and then you written information when the activity could start. It's really good that they show the active ingredient. We read it on the top. But the name chloraperamine, it's not really good. It seems to me like a very heavy thing. What is your impression, the authors of this package? What was the idea that is delivered to you? Because it should be accessible product, the product for adults and for the kids. So I have an impression that the allergy is probably it increases the spectrum. So it's the same like the same straight lines. I don't know if there is any logical idea. So it's an explosion. It's not the blast, like a seasonal blast. I don't know, probably I'm mistaken. I have the following question. Talking about current Suprastine, there is a different active ingredient, and it might be prescribed for the kid below 3 years old. It means that there is a modified Suprastine because it has a change solution. To my point of view, it looks really different. So Intertoverin is Noshpa. I think it is something different with a different range of performance. Do you think this spec is modern? The first one, yeah. I think it could be. Why not? Because it's laconic, and this pack is looking much more attractive and much better than the pack with the same butterflies and the flowers. Because this is a medicine. As the same expensive German products, they never make any drawings on it. They do not add anything. I would like to say, as a less charge is the product If you see levomethacin and it is properly shown. In one pharmacy I haven't seen because there might be some side effect. So there was in a paper there are 10 pills. So we pay for the package and it's more than 60%. This is the classics. Because as far as I remember, the suprastine, it was always in the pack like this. And you understand that it's the pack like this. It's not overloaded with. You told me that these stripes, they are, let's say, if it's overloaded with this, does it contradict this idea? I think people do not think about it. So the designer didn't finish it because the stripes doesn't provide any information to you. What is your opinion? Is the product original? I also buy the medicines in accordance with that principle, and in 95% of cases I order it in the pharmacy.ru, apteka.ru, and you could find the other manufacturers. So as cheaper as it is, so as better it is, to my point of view. Talking about the others, whether this spec is original. The pack is original, but the one who knows the product, why they need it, is there is something similar among antihistamine products. Or probably you find something similar. You mean the similar pack visually? No, I haven't seen the pack like that. So this logotype, as no one has it. So if you haven't met anything similar, why do you think it is not so original? It is not remarkable and it doesn't evoke interest and it doesn't have any reason. Because the one who knows the product, they will buy it. If I'm not in this conversation, I could hardly get why the violet element is here and why it's yellow spot, there is blue and the green spot. Now we're discussing only the first one. I understand that the strength of this product presentation, of this packaging, is you understand that they're not trying to make the price of the product higher because they've been not crushing their mind about design, and the weakness is you still have questions why the colors are dirty in spite that they are not evoking feeling of destruction. Why do we define these shells and so on? This idea is not really clear. What are the other elements, the strengths and the weakness of this product? I have an impression that the name is written in Russian and with the big fonts. It's rather clear. Plus this inscription against the allergy. And if the person doesn't know what allergy is, if you forget about this name, and it's something that has a connotation, you could say if it's against the allergy, it will be there, and it's convenient. Now, there's a lot of problems created with the name in English. That's why the same Zyrtec was launched in English. So then you turn it on the other side, it's in Russian, and in the pharmacy they're not always having this Russian product. Because if you know English, you could clearly understand. Besides that, the adults and the old people will do that. In this case, it's a very clear picture, and this is the strength of the product. What about the weakness? I dislike very much not well fixed color, and the phrase that it might have or might not have to you. Still under discussion. Clear. Anna? If you didn't know this product, if you see suprastine in this pack, would you like to know more information about it? I'm rather scared because this activity might start but not will start. So still having question why it might act me. And this scares me. So would you like to know more facts about it? I think I would like to find more because the spec is more accessible on money. I think I would like to have it. What about you, Lydia? Would you like to know more information or buying the product in this pack? I think I would like to try it. So what attracted your attention? Because first of all, it fits for kids, and it means you could buy it for everyone. Okay, clear. Now let's imagine that the manufacturer launches the bags and they do not provide any cardinal changes, but you could have some minor changes. What would you like to change there? Instead of the whole information for adults, the kids, and the activity, I would like to probably give a chance for people to read and to keep the word allergy. So instead of color, you have a QR code. Talking about color execution and the color logotype should be more interesting on 3 packs. What would you like to change on the first pack? On the first pack, we need to skip the logotype, and it means that you need to make it more expensive. That's correct. Probably you need to leave a small circle or the oval. If we skip these 2 lines, would it be better without these lines? If we think about an inscription. So what would you like to see instead of the lines? I would like to see some color drawing. I could hardly tell you which one we want to do. It should be something special for this brand. So the other exhibition and the package. Let's discuss it in more details. Do you think this pack is more modern? Yelena? I don't know about this one. Probably we could change to see what specific product should be there. Because this one looks to me like I've seen something very similar to the product. Now I could hardly tell you the details in analyzing it. It is modern in one hand, but on the other hand it looks similar to something else. First of all, I would write down 40 instead of these active ingredients, because I understand that it's rather fast, but on the other hand it's still under discussion. Talking about the others, who think that second packaging of Suprastinex is more modern? I think there is a deep designing idea here. It's not really clear to me, but still. So 5 out of 6 think that it looks modern, but not really clear. I understand that the explosion is clearer than the stripes. Probably it's the graffiti, and it looks more modern, and it attracts more attention of yours. So if we're talking about the violet, green, I would like to choose or the stripe, the juicy stripe, the violet and the green or the orange, or it should be the boost of the solution, and it's not. If it's an explosion, it's just like a methane. And we should understand that there are different groups and the active ingredient is different. It should be the letter S that probably should perform together with the stripe and the explosion, and it will be much more comfortable. The logotype is in one side and on the back. So all these drawings, so the sample A2 in this given case, it is more successful because the color of logotype looks, probably the explosion doesn't look really poor and miserable because it is noticeable in your eyes. Probably you need to do something similar on the other pack. Based on this given pack, on this given design, what would you say about the product itself? Suprastinex is based on the pack. I think it is modern. Anna, what about you? I think it is modern. I think it is stronger. It's like a stronger explosion. if we assuming that this is the explosion, it is modern, but I'm really neutral to all these explosive elements. In one hand, this explosion gives for you the imagination of the fantasy because you could associate it with this broad spectrum of activity, and it has a targeted effect. On the other hand, the interpretation, there's a lot in it, and you do not understand what is the idea behind it. Based on the logic, I think it's very interesting reflection. It's like a chronic energy. So if it's the same boost and the color elements, talking about the chronic allergy, it's a stable condition of the person. He knows that for many years he faced with this chronic formula, and all these pills, they do not help so much. Talking about these pills, they might help only in the occasion if you start immediately sneezing, and 7 pills you take for 5 to 7 days. If it doesn't help you, in that case, you stop using the product. Here it's rather strange dissonance that to 6 months and you have the dosage of the pills. One takes different picture. So N8 kills everything. Probably you need to use half of the pill, if I'm not mistaken. The dosage is not really clear. There are 7 pills. If you have a chronic allergy, you should take it constantly. And in this case, you need to take the product. You could find a lot of packs starting with the same Claritin, and Claritin suggests to use 1 pill. So probably it's the same thing that you take it for 1 week. Are there any strong points for that presentation of the product? So I hear the weaknesses, and what about the strengths? It's informative pack. So these letters, they look really clear and you could read it without any problem, but you know this spot is, I would say, it's very specific. I would like to make it yellow and sell it. Like the same blossoming powder. So what else would you like to change in this pack? I would not change anything. Yeah, that's true. So you need to skip 6 months. And I would like to leave the same groups, because a key could have from 3 months to 6 months, and the group will be shown there. From 14 years, you understand that you have a, if you show and you skip probably this chronicle image. So you do not need to probably change. And who wants, they might read an instruction without any problem. After you see this spec, would you like to get more information about Suprastin X? So if you are not acquainted with the product, would you like to read more information? So first of all, I need to read an instruction, because I still have some doubtful moments about it. Because when you take it up to 6 months, you don't know whether it acts immediately. So when you take it for a really long time, it might cause credibility, and it doesn't have really strong side effects. 6 months, they are really confusing you. So if there is an allergy reaction, because in fact it is really fast, especially if you have some kind of food elements and you need to react very quickly on that. And this type of people, when you take this kind of product that have the same sedative effect, what is your impression whether these pack fit the category of antihistamine products? So why it fits so much? because there are different colors, green and blue, and many antihistamine products, they have the same color execution because it is written against the allergy, and you understand it by the inscription. Zyrtec also have the same bluish color. Let's see pack number 3. So what is the key idea shown here, and what is delivered by the authors? How does that fit? The main idea is the drop and then with this age. So it looks like a childish product. It's safer. So why do you have an impression that it's so safey? Because you think that the kid is drawing something, so it could be taken by the kids. I have an impression that the product is so safey that you could take it from the age of 2. So the color spectrum and the picture, you have an impression that it's for the kid, but from the age of 2, it tells that it's not so safey. I mean, for the very young kids. Does this pack look modern? Yes, it does. Who think that it's not really modern? In one hand, it is modern, but it's not so interesting. Because the head of the child is in yellow lines, and it doesn't look really aesthetic. You do not understand whether it's yellow or red. So the SAM explosion is under discussion, but so you find this spot and it's not really clearly seen whether it's a child, and you find the logotype. So it's miscommunication because this one looks like a newly born kid, but then I have an impression that this kid is about 2 months old. So it's a dissonance to me. So then you could find, I don't know, probably some drawings like the same bear and the rabbit, even the Nazivin. So then on the face you could understand that it's a newly born child, and it could be the toddler kid. Even on the photo you understand the age group of this product. Some other drawing from the far distance, you understand that it could be for 2 months old kid. So based on this package, how does the product look like? I think it is accessible product, and it is safer. Yeah, that's right. Why do you have an impression that it's more accessible product? Because this pack doesn't look really sophisticated. I think it has a narrow focus. That's right. Starting with the age of 2. So what is your impression? What type of product is that? I think this product looks strange because you do not understand everything related to kids. You perfectly understand that it's maximally developed, but here you have not clear pictures. The face is not really clear to you. That doesn't fit the age of the person, and there's an impression that the product probably is not so serious. Probably they do not have a very serious approach. They just draw something and say something. For the kid, it fits really well. So there could be some drawings and laconic product, but when you think it should be maximum clear and adapted, and you should perfectly understand that it's made for the kids, and they require this option. So it's a playful pack, and I would say that it's not a playful pack, but you find some drawings on it, and when you find this smiling kid, and when you find some animal shown, and there you find some lines and the kid of the boy that doesn't fit it. Why it's so playful? It's not really serious. So what would you like to change here to like it more? As minimum, I would like to have the face of the kid that fits this age. if you don't want to make a photo like that, just make something that is rather clear. And on the other hand, this drawing is not really needed. If you make an overall line of product, just make this spot and you understand that the age group is different. Suprastinex, the logotype of the product, if you find it, it will grow, it will develop, and you perfectly understand that it's like that. But the right side is not really good to me. Do you clearly understand that in all these packages, the strong benefit is in the logotype and the large name, and you find this base, you clearly understand its inscription against the allergy. Then you could find some other inscriptions that create some questions to you, and you find the same graphic pictures. Look, so you have the same pack of suprastine, and if you imagine and you think about it, I think it's a mana 45. It's a mana 45. I think this one is older, yeah. It's like a Dr. Ibolite, the well-known doctor. It's in a coat with umbrella. He's not fashionable. How does the doctor look like? I think he would like to look young. But he works as a doctor. Yeah, that's right. This is my association about it. Is it a good doctor? So this doctor saw a lot of things. So based on this spec, what else would you say about this doctor? Because it has the same beard, it has a gray hair, he lives in not a big European town. How would you describe his character? He's Nordic. He's really relaxed. He's sometimes strict. It is clear, it is informative, he is rather clear. And second packaging, Suprastinex, what is your impression of that person? I think it's a man below 30, but he's sometimes weird. And he wants to be modern. So he has a conservative medical profession, and is that a doctor? I think he is, because this white back is associated with white gown. As far as he was taught with the old Hammered doctors, he take this school, and he would like to do the same things. He probably attends different courses, different conferences, but still, he likes this traditional medicine. What about you, Helen? What did you say about it? What did you say about this young doctor? So I have an impression of a young generation. He's below 30. He has a lot of interesting ideas with his own points. He has an active young life at his university. So you could find a bright beginning with that person. At the same moment, he was just studying on the old classical laws and old classical school. Talking about Suprastinex variant number 3. It's a young woman. Yes, out of any question, it's a young woman. That's right. I have an impression that she spills a iodium. What else is there? It's something red. Probably. So that picture, if it stays on the legs, we would not talk about the same newly born kids. So it means that here you find the principles of allergy. So the edge irritation, that's why this, it's really good that they have the drops and they have it in design. The only one thing, visually, I would prefer as the packet is, so I should read about it. On the other hand, it will be lying on the shelf, but this way it's not really convenient to read about it. Coming back to the child, what is your impression? What is the character of this kid? I think it has a playful character. It is really vivid, and they would like to try it. So who has some female image? I think she is well styled, and it's an association with the doctor. That is my association about it. Probably she would like to get her knowledge. So this lady is having some fun. She is a really funny lady because of the orange or pink color. She likes the kids. She is really positive, so these colors are really positive. She sometimes, because having this kind of mixed colors, she probably doesn't have the order inside of herself. But assuming that the other elements, in one hand they do one good thing, but on the other hand, so it's a similar type, and she might talk a lot and so on. Okay, please mass this papers to me, and let's turn the page. On the other side, please write down letter V. Let's make it silently, and please write your evaluation. And without interruption, just do it individually, please. Anna, what would you say about those specs? I did not really like because the previous specs were better. So this logotype is too big. What about you, Irina? I like it. They're simple, they're clear to me. There is nothing that evokes a lot of emotions, and I do understand what it is. So the logotype on the back, I clearly see it from the far distance. Plus we have this against the manufacturer, so it's also interesting to me. I like it. Even this kind of silver elements, they probably it's a transition of color and suprastine. This font style fits much better. And if they add this into the product, I would not be confused because this inscription is interesting. I think they will remove unnecessary elements, but generally I like it very much. What about you? I think it's not very interesting to me, but still you find the manufacturer and the whole information you could find there, how it helps you, but on the other hand it's not so noticeable. I like it very much. This S letter would be noticeable from far distance when we enter the shelf. So we're always running and we need to see all these elements. If this would not be with such a dull color but more noticeable, and if this letter will have a hologram, you see an inscription, you see an emblem and the logotype of Soprastin. Here I understand that there is an idea and the logic. So you could find again some chronic and it could be some bluish and the childish element, so it feels like an overall moment to you. I like these specs, but still it's a doubtful feeling because those were more interesting to me and there is some kind of specific killing, some mastering, what it means. But here all these products are in one line, monochrome. I would like to say about the previous execution that I would like to add some hologram, but here they realize it without any problem in silver color. I think it's not really critical because the information is almost the same as on the previous product. And you find the same solution as Nasivin. And besides of even more simplicity, they look more modern than those because probably it looks like a nanotechnology or something like that. I don't know why, but it looks more modern to me. What are your emotions about this product? I think this product looks expensive. It is serious product because we clearly see that people work on that without any tricks. So there is a problem and there is a solution. Is it interesting to see these specs? Well, not interesting to look. We wait for cheap price and high performance. And you should of course recognize it. So it's not so interesting to see, but it evokes the feeling of credibility. So it is more effective and it tells about the professionalism. So don't look at this page. And what do you remember the most? It's the large S letter and the big font style, the name of the product. What are the strengths of this product? I hear you mentioned to me that it is effective, it is reliable, it is serious. What do I mean by this? It means that so comparing it with the previous design of creativity, so you should recognize us, but on the other hand we also pay attention on the ingredient and the quality of the product. You're not expecting any side effects and so on. What are the drawbacks of this product presentation? I think you could find a lot of packs like this, purely white packs, but you do not find the packs with this logotype that it will flash in your eyes. And this is how it will differentiate, because you mentioned that this logotype will be noticeable. So this logotype is much more clear than the other drawings and the other elements. What idea the author have in mind, what they would like to say with a given design? This product should be noticeable on the shelves. And talking about the logotype, what it tells you about. Helena. So it tells us about stability of the product and its perfection. So it's just going to the eternity. So they tell us about some innovations, some technology, and this product is changing, is developing. Leah, is there something you like or dislike in the product? So there is nothing distracting me because the colors are very neutral. They're not flashing in your eyes, but then you recognize it very well. And this logotype is looking interesting. So this logotype with a small kid. Why should we write? Please write down from the age of 2 years old. So you need to draw it without any faces. And it will be very clear to any one of you. It has the same drawback as the first one. So it should not be overloaded with information. I would like to have the dosage on each picture, because on the last one they use 5 milligrams per liter. How would the product look like? What characteristics of the product will be in that package? It's quick activity of the product. Why do you read this? Quick performance of the product. It's because when you find this white simple pack, it tells us that it's reliable and it's fast and it helps you for sure. What else would you say? I think it's conservative, it is modern, and talking about this logotype, it looks really modern, but on the other hand, without any specific elements, without any extra payments and some innovations, it would look as a balanced one. So the modernity is here in this laconic approach and the simplicity, because it's not overloaded, and you do not have an impression when it's not overloaded with elements. You do not pay extra for design. This is what you think. Do you have an impression that the product is original and it's differentiating from the other packs? I think letter S makes it look really original, and all these flowers, the kids' faces. But I haven't seen an emblem like this. What about you, Irina? What type of product is that? I think it's simple and it's a budget product. You recognize it without any problem. After this presentation of a product, would you like more information about it, to read anything? So you could read this information in internet and reading some reviews. Does that product attract your attention? Is it because of the large logotype? So what would you like to improve here? I would like to make more colorful colors, because this color of used jeans, I need something more concentrated. Should be more bluish. I would think that the color should be brighter, more colorful. I think so. You need to understand that this is better. Do you miss the color here? I think the colors are probably the shade, and everyone has its own preference and the taste. I want it to be less colorful. So what would you like to improve here? What do you like more? I think nothing. This is the only one thing, just an inscription we had. We need to make a correction of this. I need the dosage because rather often, if it's a recommendation of a doctor, we always talk about the dosage. Here it is not really clear what dosage is that. And it is not really comfortable because when you find it on the pack, it is mine, I think. Irina, talking about you, I understand that you do not like it so much. No, I was not admiring and enjoying it. What would you like to change there? In this given case, I think, I don't know what should we change here. So it seems to you like a very restrained material because it's so simple to me. I think it would not strongly differentiate because it will be like a lot of white packs in the logotype. And it doesn't flash in your eyes. When we see this pack and we discuss it in details, let's try to imagine who would be the person representing this product. Let's try to personalize. I think it's a man. So the man with his life position, he's not really flexible. It is rather modern, but he doesn't look for innovation. He is not willing to make any experiments. What is this conservative man doing in life? Probably he performs in the scientific institute. He might relate with some research and surveys. And he's not a hooligan. He's a normal. He's a scientific worker. He's a man with the principles. Why people around like him? Because they could rely on his point beside that he's smart. Why people dislike him? Because he's sometimes really boring. Is there any family? I think his family is very specific. He's rather strange with his right approach. So he is living in his own world. And it's hard to live with a family. For example, a friend of mine, he goes to America and he has it. So probably they're learning this moleculars they're interested in. He was always studying good. He reads a lot and he lives in his own world. But the people like that might have some friends. So the family is not the main value to him. The most important thing is so that you probably need to find these people from the scientific environment. Okay, let's turn to the next page. We have the final task here. We will compare different variants of the packs. So do you clearly see it from that distance? When we compare A1, the first pack, with this pack, at the same moment, please imagine. First of all, let's underline which one you like more. Out of the series context, images separately. So if they look equally neutral, you need to choose. You have to choose. So now let's imagine that the ideal packaging, the ideal pack for you, is 100 points. How much do you evaluate this pack A1? And please write it down on the left from it. If we're talking about the percentage. And this pack. So now let's compare Suprastinex. here and there. First of all, let's underline what you like, and then let's put the point. Lena, answering your question, the points could be similar. Let's go on the variant number 3, A3P3. Suprasthenics for the kids. Please underline the variant you like. On the opposite side from the line number 2, please write down the line and tell me which one you like more, the second part. Please write down A1 or A2. We compare just the specs. And the last ranking, don't leave, and it will be on the parameters of expert. So if we compare A, B, which of these designs is perceived as, let's say, better specialist than the expert? That is close to you. The quality and well-known. So please underline and write down the points. So let's say 100% it's experienced professional, and this is ranking 2. On the parameter of expertness. So which of these lines, based on your impression and the sum of impression, so in fact, I finished with my question. If there is something else you would like to add, something we didn't discuss before. Okay, thank you very much, ladies.